Hey guys, Wes again. Since I've done an update on the 20-gallon and the goldfish tank, I thought I might as well do a update on the beta as well. So nothing has really changed here. I believe I mentioned my other additions to this tank, flora and fauna. But I'm just going to do some updates on the plants. The moss has been doing great. It's been spreading a lot and getting a lot more bushy, and I think it looks really cool. Hopefully it'll get even bigger. The Anubias congensis in the back right corner has been, I think the way I described it last time was sustaining. It hasn't been growing a lot, and it hasn't lost any leaves so far, and I'm hoping it doesn't lose any actually. But it just adds a little bit of decoration in that back corner. I'm going to go over to the left side and talk about the narrow leaf Java fern. There's two larger ones that are super glued to the driftwood. Maybe they're even rooted now, I'm not exactly quite sure. But you can see one of them has a brown leaf, and the only reason I'm waiting for it to fall off is because it has a plantlet on the top of it. And those two plants of the narrow leaf Java fern have really been propagating a lot. So what I actually did, in the very bottom left corner, you can see there's a little narrow leaf Java fern, and that is two of the plantlets that I cut off two of the larger leaves and super glued onto a rock. So it's going to be propagating really fast, and I have a feeling I'm going to have a lot of narrow leaf Java fern in here. The regular Java fern, right underneath the driftwood, let me see if I can point to it right there. That one, I think I said that one was sustaining last time as well. It's been basically the same. It hasn't been growing a whole lot. I think it needs a little more light because it's right under the shadow of the driftwood, but I don't have any plan on moving it. It's just not a huge deal. I think it looks fine right there. The two Anubias non petite are doing just fine as well. There's one right there next to the big Marimo boss ball, and one right under my finger. It's kind of hard to describe where it's at, but it's kind of dead center. Those two have been doing just fine as well. The one on the left has less algae on it than the one on the right, but I actually have seen the snail on there, so I have a feeling that won't be a huge problem on those plants. The moss balls, the larger one has been turning more green because it, I'm not sure exactly why, but it kind of went into a transitional phase when I first got it, and there was a lot of brown. So right now I have the brown side up, hoping that the green will grow through, and so far it's been working. It's definitely not as dark green as the small moss ball, but it's definitely less brown than it was before. So like I said, the small moss ball has been bright green, bright dark green, and it's doing just fine. The two Anubias nana that I have, you can see one of the leaves to the left of the small moss ball, and the other one is kind of to the right of it. It's kind of being blocked by the pennywort roots. But those two have been doing great. The new leaves have been growing. Let me just take a look here from the side. Yeah, there's tons of new leaves on those. I'm probably going to be cutting off that larger leaf on the one plant just because it's turning yellow, and I'd rather have the plant put more work into the new leaves. What other plants are there? The crypt parva, the small ones in the front. You can see there's one right there, and then there's two of them right there. I was expecting those ones to grow a lot more than they have been since the light isn't super intense, but they haven't really been getting a lot of algae on them, and one of them actually has like 3 new leaves, which is good growth for those because they're like the most slow growing crypt there is. So those have been doing great. And next would be the Brazilian pennywort. That's going to be right on the down front on the right side. It goes up a little bit. That one has been sprouting new leaves slowly but surely. I wasn't sure how that would do in here. That was kind of my last plant from the 20-gallon that I bought when I first started my planted tank, so I just threw it in here to see what it would do, and if it gets bigger it might look kind of cool. I might move it eventually underneath the driftwood so it will fill in that space right there if it ever gets bigger. But yeah, it has roots growing down, and I think that looks cool too. It gives a little bit of cover for the pygmy cories. I don't think you guys have seen those up close yet, and let me just mention the last plant. I told you guys, I think it was like a month ago, when I got rid of the last stem of Ludwigia from the 20 gallon. I stuck that in here, and that is right there. It's basically been doing nothing. It hasn't really been dying. It hasn't really been growing new leaves, so I'm just letting it sit there. It's not an eyesore, but it's not a centerpiece either, so it's not a huge deal. So I'm gonna try and get a shot of the pygmy cories. Of course, they're gonna go behind the moss ball. Oh, they're there. There's 2 of them. They're very small. I would say I'm in the US, but the way I would describe them is probably like 1 millimeter long, maybe 1.5, or centimeter, not millimeter, centimeter. Yeah, they're very small. They add a little bit of activity to the bottom of the tank. A lot of times I see them foraging on the Anubias leaves because there's a little bit of algae on there, and apparently they can pick at that. There's one down there. Oh, the beta sees him, I think. The beta usually doesn't go after them, but he must be bored right now or something. Yeah, and then the other, I wouldn't call it a fish, but the other animal I have in here is the snail, and he's in that back corner. Can I focus? Right there. I can get a shot of him from the front. I see him zooming around once in a while. There isn't a whole lot of algae in here, and I think the narite snails have trouble getting up the stems of the Anubias. So I haven't really seen him on the Anubias congensis, but he gets around and he cleans up a little bit. So yeah, that's about it with the beta tank. I've been doing my same weekly water change. I think I'm up to like a 30% water change now. Just because the plants benefit from a lot of the minerals and stuff in the tap water, so I do a larger water change than I initially did. And I rinse the foam out about every other water change. And I also did modify the outflow sponge again to have a little bit more flow, but unfortunately I still have to have the air stone on the right side just to add some surface agitation. So yeah, I'm gonna thank you guys for watching. As always, go ahead and subscribe. I love seeing that number grow up. I have a surprise for everyone at 100, so stay tuned. Give this video a thumbs up as well. I love seeing that. And if you have any feedback or have a question or just want to say hi, go ahead and leave a comment, because I always respond to the comments and I love seeing comments on my videos. So yeah, I'm going to thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.